Welcome to the Winning Move Podcast. I'm your host, Stratton Brown. I interview successful entrepreneurs from around the world to see what moves they've made in their lives to get successful and, more importantly, stay successful. I'm here to make sure you can create a better life for you and your family. Let's tune in. Welcome to the Winning Move Podcast, guys. I have my good friend and amazing guest, Michael Zuber, on today. We're going to be talking about all things in the markets, and we were talking every week, then we fell off. I started traveling, but I love talking to you every week, Mike. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I look forward to this. You bring a very unique perspective to the world. You are an entrepreneur through and through, and I am not. So I love just debating what's going on in the world and how an employee mindset like myself and an entrepreneur mindset like yourself kind of sees the world. It's very cool for me. So thank you.
Of course. All right, let's start off. How do you feel about the AOC thing with the dress? Your daily financial news just cut off. That's bananas to me. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So first and foremost, you don't know what AOC did. So AOC was at the Met Gala yesterday, which I'm sure is a expensive event. But basically, everybody that goes to the Met Gala, I'm going to guess the average net worth is $10 million, right? I'm just guessing.
At least $10 million.
Right. Steph Curry was there, right? You know, a lot of athletes and whatnot. But she wore a dress, a nice gown. I'm sure it was expensive. I'm sure it was borrowed. I'm sure she didn't buy it. But on the back, it said, "Tax the rich," in big, bright red letters. It's all over Twitter and Instagram and whatnot. So first off, I'm not an AOC fan. I don't like the socialist mindset she has. But, dude, I got to respect game. She is trying to deliver a message. She is trying to feed her tribe, her followers. And I think it was a strategic, ingenious move. I thought it was great. I'm like, kudos to her, right? She's got a message. She's taken to a platform. I'm sure that dress will get talked about a million times in the next 24 hours via different things. So I think she accomplished what she wanted. And she's on brand. She is on brand. She's walking into a beehive of wealthy people saying, "I'm coming for you." So kudos to her. Good job.
I mean, number one, isn't it illegal for her to receive those gifts as a present for free? Like, to get into there, it's $30,000 a table.
Yeah.
$30,000 a seat.
In fairness, the Met Gala has a long history of inviting New York politicians, so she is not the first nor the only to go. I'm not gonna go there. I've known the mayors and other politicians have gone for years, so I don't think that's off brand. I just think she took it to another level. So good for her.
I don't know. I think it's whack. I don't agree with anything she says, and I do care about other people. But taxing, like you were talking about the other day, no matter what you do to increase the tax rates corporately, Amazon still will pay no taxes.
Given the current tax code. And let me be clear, I do not agree with her. But she has a message. She has a tribe. She was going to a highly publicized event, and she is going to milk it for all it's worth. That's what I'm saying. Kudos, right? Hey, good for you. I don't agree with you, but damn, respect game. And that was pretty cool.
I mean, I don't like her at all. I don't like
her.
Yeah,
that's fair. I don't like her either, but yeah, that's okay. We don't have to like her to say that. Wow, that's a good move.
I mean, yeah, it was a somewhat good move. Have you been going into crypto more lately? I've been on a crypto learning and educating and everything else.
So about October to November of last year, I was at a point in my horizon where I wanted to create an insurance policy. And when I was younger, my insurance policy was gold and silver, right? I moved a percentage of my wealth to physical gold and silver.
Yeah.
And it panned out. It worked. I happen to be worth a lot more now. So I took 1% of my net worth and put it into Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then another couple of little small ones. But no, I did that. I did that all in about 3 weeks, and I haven't touched it. Don't look at it. Haven't added more. For me, it's an insurance policy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Did you do the cost dollar averaging thing at a point in time?
I ended up doing, ever, like in my career.
Ever? And do you still do it? I think I'm going to start doing it. At least with Bitcoin. I don't like stocks.
Yeah, so I think dollar cost averaging is a wise investment. Yes, I've done it. My 401ks did it every time I donated. I found stocks that I liked over time and says I'm going to buy one day a month. Yeah, if you're an investor, meaning you want to hold for the long term, I believe dollar cost averaging or being consistent, which is dollar cost averaging, is the right idea. Like I'm going to put $500 a month into Bitcoin for the next decade. If that's your call, I think that's great. That way you'll catch the ups and downs. I think for most people like yourself and myself who have busy day jobs and we're striving to do other things, once you declare your pile, I think it's much better to say, I'm going to put $1,000 into that pile every month or quarter or whatever your term is. That way you don't get, because the last thing you need is a distraction, right? You're trying to build businesses. You're trying to buy storage. You're trying to do this. You're trying to do that. Adding crypto to the mix and trying to watch the crazy ups and downs. And again, crypto's a 7/24 thing, right? It's not like stocks where it's Monday through Friday. Crypto's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You'll freaking drive yourself nuts and you'll lose out everywhere else. So I would strongly recommend a guy like you who has so many things in the air, just to declare your pile, right? I'm going to do these three. I'm going to do these ratios. And then you just do it, the first of the month or the 15th or whatever your thing is.
Yeah.
That's probably the right idea.
So I've just been learning about it, right? And just like seeing the percentages of appreciation over time, which is the most any asset has ever appreciated ever, right? Bitcoin's up like 1,000,000% over time, which has been like that.
Bananas.
That never happens. It never has happened. And then like learning, I'm really interested in like the back ends of it, like what they can accomplish with like the blockchain.
Oh, dude, the blockchain is going to change so many industries.
Bro. It's going to change everything.
It's blockchain is a legit technology. It's the business that we're both in, real estate. It'll fundamentally change escrow and title and.
Thank you. I think it's going to eliminate all of it, bro. Like it'll just
certainly most of it. Certainly most of it. There will probably be some kind of third party. It's going to change it. I don't know how, but it will fundamentally change it. Yes.
That's what I've been doing. And this is not financial advice for anybody. I know you can get in trouble doing this shit now.
Yeah. Exactly.
I've been looking into Hex. Hex is really interesting.
Okay.
And then Cardano.
Yeah, I have some Cardano, ADA, I think it is. ADA. I do have some of that.
Yeah. I have mainly Cardano, and I have some Ethereum. I think Bitcoin has no underlying value. Like I don't see it being able to like go any further. Like what else besides, and I was listening to a podcast the other day. They're like, bro, what else besides Elon Musk going out and saying we're taking Bitcoin is going to make Bitcoin rise even more?
Well, see, that's, again, one guy's opinion, right? So I chose, why did I choose? You now know the big three for me: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and ADA. Why did I choose those? Really simple reason. One is for me, and again, this is not financial advice. This is just why I plunked down significant cash on these three investments. And again, when I bought them, when I bought Bitcoin, it was under 20K. So let's be clear. I don't know that I would buy it today at whatever it is, 45 or 50 or whatever it is, right? I bought it sub 20. So the first thing is I saw Bitcoin almost like virtual land. The thing that attracted me to Bitcoin is the fixed supply. I think it was 23 million, of which they think 4 million of it's gone forever. So really it's 19 million.
Yeah.
So what I saw in that is as rich people continue to come over, right? There's only 19 million coins out there. As more and more millionaires come and buy their single coin, which I do own a coin, there's just going to be less and less because we're going to put it in cold storage and never touch it again. Exactly. So to me, a Bitcoin is land. They're not making any more of it. It's a fixed supply. And as people come, it's just going to increase in value. Why did I buy Ethereum? Well, I saw Ethereum like the internet. I thought Ethereum it's how apps are built. Bitcoin is land, right? They don't make any more land. Land will be worth what land is. Ethereum's the internet. It's a way to transact, communicate, smart contracts. Yeah. It's a way to move stuff across borders. So the second most money I put in was Ethereum, and it's behind Bitcoin by like 10%. And then I took a flyer on ADA, which was significantly cheaper when I bought it. Because I'm like, maybe ADA is Web 2.0. And again, if you're in technology like I am, the internet had its run, and then they had to kind of re-architect it because it wasn't fast enough. It was a resource hog. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to take a very, very small percentage and take a total flyer on something I have not researched just because maybe there'll be an internet 2.0. And again, let's be very clear. I made these investments. I don't look, and I am perfectly happy if they go to zero, right? I just want to be very clear with people. I plan to hold all of these for at least a decade, right? So we'll see what happens.
The one I am watching Cardano's price because they're like releasing that smart contract stuff where they did
it yesterday.
Yeah, they did. But I didn't see a big appreciation go up. Like I didn't.
No, dude, it's just like Bitcoin, right? Like for example, El Salvador became legal tender. The run up was before. All this stuff is well known. You don't look for the day it lands. People were buying ADA for the last 3 months thinking it was going to land. So it was all pre-bought.
Oh yeah, but the whole blockchain, ADA, Hex, and Ethereum. I don't like Bitcoin. It seems like it holds no value to me.
Fair enough. That's great.
It does this whole value. I don't know. I'm trying to become a tech whiz at this point, and like learning all about all that stuff. It's so fascinating to me.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah, I mean, again, Bitcoin, all of these could go to zero. But again, what did I do? I happen to be in a very envious position where I could take 1% of my net worth, put it in a insurance policy, and dude, it could pay off monstrably. It could also go to zero, and it won't change my life one iota.
Exactly. Do you have, or did you have any rules of selling stuff? Of like, well, I will sell something if X happens, but besides that, nothing else is going to cause that.
So yeah, so anytime I make an investment, my time horizon is forever. But as I highlight in my book, anytime somebody wants to overpay, because I know what my stuff's worth within 10% all the time, because I look every day. But there are times in the market where values get stupid. And 2006 was one of those times. I sold that property on Norris Drive, which we've talked about. I bought for 107. I sold for 265. And it didn't cash flow, dude. It was an alligator. The only reason people were buying is because of these stupid pick-up payment loans. Yeah. So I sold. I sold 8 houses I never intended to sell. But here's the deal. I didn't really sell. I exchanged. I took overpriced stuff and bought underpriced stuff. So I stayed in the market. I didn't sell and take cash. I would have walked away with $1 million in 2008 if I sold everything and just cashed out. Instead, I took the $1 million, got 80 units in apartments, and now that $1 million is a lot more. Oh yeah. So I stayed engaged, right? My goal back then, and still is today, is to sell what's overpriced and to buy what's cheap. Like I sold apartments in 2019, C areas going downhill, needed 200 grand in investment. And sure, it went up since because cap rates went down, but I made a choice. I thought it was overpriced and I was happy to sell and I don't regret. But generally my time horizon's forever.
And then I don't know who this is. Thank you so much for the compliment. Some of my favorite people. If you could type in your name for us, that'd be awesome. For some reason, it won't show us your name.
Oh, that's nice.
One thing that I heard a couple weeks ago was if you don't sell your properties now, you're okay at buying them at these prices. Right? They're saying like,
yeah, I understand. It's by not selling, you're saying you would buy. That's a cute thing to say, but entirely wrong.
All right, elaborate. What's going on, Dino?
Dino, hey man. Because again, I'm making a decision to hold because of my debt structure. I have 30-year debt. I believe we are in an inflationary environment, and my real estate, Stratton, pays for my lifestyle.
Oh yeah.
I have monthly bills just like everyone else. If I sold my stuff, I wouldn't have the cash flow to pay my bills. My real estate pays for my life. That statement is cute. It probably looks good on a t-shirt or a bumper sticker. But no, I make daily decisions based on cash flow, rent. It's an inflationary environment. I am so happy to have 30-year debt. Anybody who's getting an adjustable rate mortgage today, unless it's like a very odd reason, you're silly and being irrational, go get that 30-year debt. If the secret to having a great life is to have passive income or income comes in while you sleep that exceeds your expenses.
Yeah.
It's an amazing feeling. And you don't get there by selling stuff.
Can you even get an adjustable rate mortgage right now?
Well, you can. You'd be a moron to do it, but you can. Yeah.
I thought they were like illegal.
No. Pick a payment is illegal. Neg am loans where you had a fully 30-year, fully 15 interest only, and then pick a payment. Those are you can't get those today.
So what's pick a payment? I've never even heard of that.
So it was very common. So one of the reasons we're not going to have a crash this time is because of the debt structure buyers have or investors have. So the guy that bought my Norris Drive house, he got a pick a payment loan. What did that mean? It means he bought an overpriced asset, and when you see a mortgage statement, right? When you get a mortgage statement, it says you owe $1,112, right? You see those?
Mm-hmm.
A pick a payment loan says you have 4 choices. You can pay a fully amortized 30-year loan, $1,100. You could pay an interest-only payment of $890, or you know what? We'll make you pay $400, and we'll take the difference and put it on the back of the loan. So your loan grows every month. So the only reason that guy made cash flow on my house is that he chose the $400 payment and chose to grow his balance, which eventually blew up. So that was a pick a payment loan. You had 3 choices, and everybody chose the smallest payment.
Okay.
Those are illegal.
What's going on, Chris? Chris says you can get an arm.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can get 5 ones, 3 ones. Doesn't make them right, but you can get them. Yeah.
And Chris is just 2 offices away.
Hi, Chris.
So, and I heard today that no one is going to be able to recall Gavin Newsom. Like the news just said, it's not going to happen. He's going to stay in office.
Yeah, I think that is Unfortunately true. I think the Republican Party missed a gigantic opportunity. Massive opportunity to get rid of him. It could have happened if they got behind a purple Republican, right? Everybody wants to be blue and red. California is the deepest blue state. It's California and New York, right?
Yeah.
So what happened? The only reason Gavin Newsom is going to win is because Gavin Newsom, the darkest blue, was able to pick the reddest candidate and make him Trump. This guy is going to be Trump. And everybody in California doesn't want Trump, or at least lots of people don't. So what happened is it became that became the choice. You either keep Gavin or you get this red, and enough Democrats are like, no. The Republicans missed a chance. They could have chosen some purple candidate like the San Diego mayor, I forget his name, or some other candidates. But when Larry became the running away choice, yes, Larry's going to get all the red in California, but that's not going to win. Democrats outnumber Republicans 2-1. It just doesn't work. The math is bad. If the Republicans would have got behind a purple candidate, and I mean by purple, right? You blend them together.
Yeah,
Gavin would have been gone. He would have been toast. He's horrible. He's a liar. He's unethical. His wife is getting paid for this or that. It's terrible, but California doesn't want Trump. So bad choice.
How you can frame a black man as Donald Trump is beyond me. But
it happened. I mean, you tell me.
It is absolutely beyond me that like you can even create that narrative.
Did it not happen?
No, it fucking happened, and it's crazy.
Right. You're a black man. I mean, you see it, right? Larry's. They made him Trump, and that's not going to win in California.
100% made him Trump.
And that doesn't win in California.
No, not at all. Meet Kevin for governor. I thought he had a chance, dude.
Dude, the fact that guy's going to get somewhere between 6 and 15% of the vote, A, kudos to him. B, that's amazing. That shows you the power of YouTube. I mean, geez, that is just amazing. And again, I think he might crack double digits, which is going to be amazing. I think if he wanted, he has a future in politics. I don't know that he's going to want to do it, but it's shout out to meet Kevin Paffrath. I've interviewed him before. He's a wonderful guy, and it's a shame that he didn't get a chance.
I wouldn't. Doing what he does and then going into politics sounds miserable. He lives the best life right now, and then you have to go into
a cesspool.
Yeah, a cesspool, nonsense. You can't do anything. Everything you do is criticized.
Yeah. I don't know. I would have loved to see him get a shot at it for a year. I would have loved to have seen that.
And see what he does.
Yeah. I mean, again, the chances that he gets anything done in a year with just the political environment's not great, but I would have loved to seen him try.
Okay. What else is going on in the markets that you would say is the biggest thing that's happened in the last month?
Oh, there's a couple of things. So CPI, Consumer Price Index, came out today, over 5%. And the media and the White House are saying, "Oh, good, inflation is less bad than we thought." Right? It's 5.3, and they thought it would be 5.4. I think the fact that inflation is over 5% is a problem. I think we're going to have inflation for a lot longer.
And they don't even include other things in that, right? So
Dude,
what do they include in that?
It's such a managed number. It's almost irrelevant. If you were to ask me today what the running like consumer inflation is, look at my refrigerator, my gas tank, my healthcare, clothes, all of these things, I would guess that inflation somewhere between 8 and 11%.
Yeah.
And the CPI is a very managed number. They have these things called switching costs, and it's just a gobbledygook of economic nonsense. You and I are paying somewhere between 8 and 11% more for stuff, and it's not going to slow down. Inflation, and people need to realize this whole tax the rich nonsense like AOC put out there, the greatest tax, the biggest tax that we all pay every year is inflation. People don't see that. People want to talk about, oh, we're going to raise the income tax on this or that person. Dude, you got to raise a 4%, but your cost of living went up 11. You lost 7%. The poor, the people that are struggling, the people that are bouncing around the bottom, inflation will eat you alive. And if you're not working to make more money, shave expenses, inflation could put you in the poorhouse. It's tragic. Inflation is real.
What are you doing to hedge against inflation now? Because I know you do have a fat stack.
Oh, absolutely. I'm buying as many residential properties, fourplexes through houses, mainly houses, that I can with debt under 4%. I can get debt on. There is so much god awful money out there now. I can work with commercial brokers, which are who I have to deal with, and get 3.99%. That may sound high to a lot of you, but dude, I was doing deals at 6%.
Yeah.
I can get under 4 now. I'm going to buy as many single family homes as I can in the next year, rent them out, cash flow day one, let inflation take over. I'm going to put millions of dollars to work because I can buy an asset that's increasing by more than inflation that has income, and my debt's 3 point. Dude, debt is under 4 and inflation's at 8. That's negative carry. I mean, it's just mind boggling. So I'm buying as many residential properties as I can. I should be closing on one today or tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Are you using your own cash or are you raising cash for it still?
On stuff that I plan to keep forever, I have a stack of cash that I'm putting to work. But also I'm borrowing, like the office that you're in. I owned it free and clear. I'm peeling off 6 figures, and I'm just going to go buy more stuff, right? No reason that asset should be free and clear. So I'm going to go buy more assets. Yeah.
But I'm talking about like burr it, right? And use the.
If I'm going to do burr, yes, I use private capital. Yeah. If it's long-term hold, it's my cash. If I'm going to burr recycle capital, because I have millions of dollars that people want to give me or lend me. I shouldn't say lend me that I'll recycle in 6 to 9 months. They get like 6%, and then I give them a little bit of sweetener on the other side. And I have $3 or $4 million I could have tomorrow if I had the deals. So yes, I do both.
Have you thought about starting a fund?
No, no. I like one debt, one lender, one asset. One lender, one asset. A fund would be a pool of investors. I just don't want the extra. Dude, I have such an awesome life.
Yeah.
I'm not about making it more complicated. Could I have a fund? Yes, I could have one tomorrow or whenever, however long it took. But I'm not going there.
Okay.
I don't have to.
Chris Williams says that rehabs that costed him $45 to $50K 2 years ago are coming in at $70 to $80.
He's dead on. He's right.
We were talking right before this, and someone sent him a deal that he sent me the deal. It was a duplex for $100,000, and it was going to cost $175K to fix up the duplex the houses, and like it killed the deal. I was like,
of course it did.
But like at that point, I've never heard of a duplex or 2 houses on one lot going for $100,000 not being a home run. You're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm guessing this came from a wholesaler. I'm guessing.
No, it came from a referral. Like
a referral. Okay.
The guy who used to be in the office with us.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's an interesting time. Yeah, I mean, Chris is dead on. The biggest example now is I had a fence, right? One of the things I do on all my units, because I'm trying to do everything up front, so it's cash flow longer. A lot of times I replace the fence, right? Because everybody in California puts a fence around their backyard. And, there was a fence, like an 80-foot fence that I got quoted like $4,000 to fix. And usually it's 1,500 to 1,800, maybe 1,950. I'm like, nope, not doing that. I just go put in some new 4x4s, buy a couple of, whatever they're called, slats, and be done with it. Yeah, it's crazy. And the other thing I just found out today, the next great constraint, it used to be lumber, now is windows.
There's been a back shortage on
backlog
Windows
of
for
Windows.
like the last 8 months. My friend's a Windows salesman, and then my other friend's a developer, and they can't get Windows.
Yeah, there are houses sitting almost done that can't get Windows. There's like a 25-week backlog. Nuts.
Exactly. It's been like that for a while. Oh, and Chris, there was 2 non-paying tenants, so that does make it a hiccup.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Right
That's especially in California. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's nonsense. Boom. Again, sorry, I don't know why it's not showing us who this is, but please let us know who you are.
It's probably
Dino,
yeah, probably.
What's the next biggest thing that's happened in the markets that you think is pretty relevant?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. I believe real estate investors, if you're looking to add to your portfolio like I am, the biggest thing you need to work on today is seller financing. And again, I'm an open book. Oh, it's Cletus. Oh, cool. Hey, Cletus. I believe one of the things that we should be doing for the next 4 months, and again, this is very calendar specific. There are points in time where the calendar is your friend. I believe what's going to happen starting next calendar year is there's going to be changes in the tax code that punish real estate investors. Okay. So what I'm looking to market to right now, and I've done a show with PopStream on this, is I want to market to any real estate investor who's owned their property 20 years. They probably own it free and clear, probably. They probably depreciate it to zero or near zero. I want to reach out to them and say, hey, I'm a real estate investor in Fresno. I've been buying since 2002. I plan to be buying until 2042. If you would like to sell one or your entire portfolio, maybe we should talk about seller financing. It saves you on taxes. It removes your daily headache, and you can still get income. If you'd like to talk about that, and I can close by December 31st. I just think there's a very unique time right now where seller carry is going to be like the number one option. Next year, right, when we get into next year, and I think a recession occurs, it will be sub 2. But I think the next 4 months, it's seller carry is what I'd be practicing.
So you think a recession will come next year? You think it'll be a big enough recession for sub 2? And I love pace, but it's for sub 2, for someone to take that, like you have to be in a shit place.
I think, well, again, all recessions are, the difference between a recession and a depression?
A recession just doesn't last as long.
The joke, it's kind of a snide, it's a joke, but the joke is a recession is when your neighbor loses the house. A depression is when, a recession is when your neighbor loses his job. A depression is when you lose your job. Okay. So the recession being is, I think it will impact people. And if you happen to be in a house that you bought, a year ago, and suddenly you have to move because there's no more jobs in California, you got to move to Texas, you got to get out, right? Yep. And sub 2 might be the only option, because I don't know if it's next year or it could be the year after. Eventually rates are going to go up, and the people who bought with cheap, like 2.6 30-year money, that loan is an asset. The interest rate will be an asset. If rates stay low all next year, then no, not sub 2. But at some point, the 30-year is going to go to 4%, and then I will trade on that value because I'll want that 30-year.
Right, I want all that debt. I want all that debt.
Yeah, especially when the gap. So if it's not next year, it'll be the year after. But one thing I can guarantee you, Stratton, is we will have another recession. The business cycle is real. The Fed can't eliminate recessions. We've had 3-4 recessions. We've had a recession every 2 or 3 years. Is it bad? Is this that? It'll happen, and it will hurt some people.
I mean, the crazy thing for me is when I first got into real estate, everybody said a crash has to come because the market is too hot. That was in 2017. In 2019, Sam Zell sold off like the majority of his fucking portfolio, like calling the top. Mm-hmm. Here we are, almost 2022, and it's still going up.
Yeah, dude, I've been pretty vocal. There's no crash coming. I lived through the last crash, and the last crash was a debt structure problem and a speculation problem. A couple of facts for the audience, right? And let's play a guessing game. So in 2006, guess what percentage of loans were adjustable rate mortgages, Stratton? Just take a guess.
60.
Close. Actually, that's a very good guess. It was 50-50. 50% of loans were adjustable rate mortgages.
That's wild.
Guess what they are today?
2%.
Exactly 2%. Awesome. Guess what percent pick a payment loans were in 06, meaning those that we talked about earlier? Wild guess.
5.
14.7%. All of those loans were toxic in defaults waiting to happen. And guess what? They all blew up. Guess what percentage there are today?
0. I watched your video on this.
Exactly. Exactly. So the debt structure is entirely different. Plus, guess what inflation is in rents? Right? It's 11% today. If you have 30-year debt, your payment stays the same. If rent goes up, you make more cash flow. So there's just no speculation. The lending structure got tighter in the last. It got harder to borrow money because you actually had to qualify.
Yep.
Last time, all you had to do was literally sign your name. I signed a loan application last time with no numbers on it. The broker was so busy. They said, sign these 13 places, initial these 8, we'll get your loan. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? He goes, yeah, you've already borrowed from us. We'll fill in the numbers from your last file. I'm like, okay. That's just how nutty it was.
Man, my number one, I hate banks. I absolutely hate banks. That's why I'm a big fan of cryptocurrency, because I think it's a bunch of fucking bean counters.
Well, dude, banks got all the money, man. So let's dig into that. Why do we hate banks again?
Huh?
Why? Hey, what do you think? I want to play with this a little bit. Hate banks. Okay.
It's just a bunch of fucking bean counters. And like, I had to go set up, I put this out on like my blog/email. I had to go open up like 6 new business accounts.
Oh.
And they wanted all this paperwork again for like the same LLCs we had and other shit, and we open up a new one. So what the fuck do you mean, man? X amount of cash in this account right now. Open me up another goddamn account. And I got some fucking bean counter telling me I can't do it. And so that day I went and bought more fucking cryptocurrency because I'm just sick of the banks.
Well, here's the deal. Banks have been around forever. Banks, generally speaking, are responsible for making the economy work because they take in capital, lend it out at 10-to-1 ratios. So yeah, it's well, here's the deal, right? Banks are interesting. First off, banks can make you rich. Every real estate investor I know that's wealthy,
right, they can make you rich. Everybody says get to know the banks, love your banker. I still think they're a bunch of fucking bean counters. I need to get over it, right? Because like we have to use banks for the storage stuff we're doing, for the more business stuff we're doing, more lines of credit, but still, it's just so irritating.
You got to let that shit go.
Oh my God. I hate the monotonousness of dealing with banks.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. I hate paperwork, but Olivia like really hates paperwork. Yeah. So let's just say she doesn't do any of the paperwork with our banks. I do it all.
Really? Yeah. I don't do paperwork.
Oh, it drives her crazy. It's just insane.
But at the same, I want to start a bank because like with what they get free money. And then they lend it out at like you have 0 overhead and you're just making a 6% margin off of nothing. It's crazy. Like Wells Fargo did 70 billion last year. And the whole point of crypto, right, is to eliminate that. And then you get to make the margin yourself because you can do like the staking and everything else. And you can make a lot of money off of your own money. That makes it easier. I'm fascinated by that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I would tell you to get over that banking thing. But yeah, I just figure out how to use them and then ignore them, right? The other thing you got to realize is banks are in this for themselves. That's what a lot of new people fail to realize. They're like sometimes lending gets really easy and first time buyer credits and all of this. Oh, they think of banks like your mom, like they're always going to give you a hug and they're always going to come and support you. That is asinine. Banks are the most ruthless, cutthroat organizations. They will slice your throat in a headache or in a minute.
Oh, they will. My friend had a couple $1 million loan called when everything hit.
Oh yeah. Banks are not these warm and fuzzy mom-like creatures. They are sharks. But if you know how to play with sharks, they're not that bad.
Right. Well, I was talking to Brad and he told me about the stories of all these people in 2006 to 2008 where the banks just pretty much called them up like, hey, X million is due next week.
I had a guy worth legit $10 million. He lost one property, had all his loans called, and he was bankrupt within 3 weeks.
Right. Madness. And the banks don't care.
Oh yeah. He's never been the same. It ruined him.
My thing with that is you can't let that ruin you. Like, even though it crashed you, you still have to bounce back as an entrepreneur, right? Just because it's only a loss if you let it be a loss, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, no. He certainly could have handled it differently. He didn't pick up the pieces.
But I mean, that's, again, devastating.
Oh, legit. Legit $10 million. Didn't have to work anymore, but kept moving his chips into the middle. Got caught.
Robert
Snake
G.
eyes.
Allen did the same thing.
Sorry?
You know who Robert G. Allen is?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Robert G. Allen had the same thing happen to him where he leveraged off a bunch of his real estate, put it all into this house up in Park City. The house burnt down and the banks called all his loans. Like, so he was like over collateralized and lost everything. And then he had to build it all back up again.
Yeah, good for him to rebuild it. It's tough.
All right. Do you have any other parting words? And then we're going to do some other podcasts.
Yeah, what I would tell everybody in this is real estate is not what you see on social media. It is not easy, but damn, if you get good at it, you can become ridiculously wealthy. And the wealth is made by holding.
By holding.
Yep.
I am going to sell 2 different notes, though. I've already decided. I'm selling 2 of my rentals.
Works. Those are notes to you. Yep.
Yeah, they're notes to me, so whatever.
Yeah, it's all right.
$300 each. It's okay.
There you go. Cool. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We will see you soon.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Winning Move Podcast. I hope it helps you make all the right moves in your life and business. Please make sure to go like and subscribe on any podcast platform that you're listening to, and make sure to go follow me on Instagram @StratDaddy. Thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you soon.